See if we got audio or not. We have audio. Okay. So we're going to stick with this one here, right here, ladies and gentlemen. We have audio on this, and we're going to stick with it. I'm not going to try anything else. Let me know what you got. And letting John and the stations know here. YouTube only. All right, let me know if you have audio here, please. Message me back. That would be awesome if you could. Same, if you're a radio station, same spot block as last week. Grief, we're getting close there, aren't we? Thank you, Karen. We're staying with this. I'm not moving anything. I'm not touching anything. I'm going to call John Armin and get this lined up here. So, no idea why one version kicks the other one off and messes everything else. I'm sticking with this right here. Good grief. There we go. It's like pushing rope. Morning, Waylon. Thank you, Mr. Cox. Tune in to this side of it here because this is the one we're going to stick with here. Let's see if John Armin answers. Yeah.
Good morning.
What's up, Mr. Armin?
Oh, just feeding the horses. Just feeding the horses.
Feed them son of a guns there.
Yep.
There you go.
What are you up to?
Oh, trying to get everything organized here and ready to go. Still some audio trouble, so I'm just doing YouTube, and all the stations are just going to have to listen to it that way.
No, haven't figured it out, huh?
YouTube hates me.
Yeah.
They say I hunt too much.
Is that what they say?
Yeah.
Well, I should. I don't know if you'd want. I don't know if they'd. How I could. Well, I could do it. I'm gonna be going to Roku TV.
Roku.
Yep, and doing it. I just don't know. You know, with everything going on, YouTube I hate because every time I put something on there, they say I copyrighted it.
Yep.
And if you don't monetize it, then you don't get put out there. I mean, it's just and they hate you. You know, I mean, and I don't think it's going to be too long, and they'll probably take away the hunting side of things. Who knows?
I agree.
But I also hate supporting somebody that
doesn't do what we do.
Right.
Unfortunately, it's the only way I can get my stuff to the other stations. So.
Oh, really?
At this point, yeah. So I mean, there's other formats, but there's a lot of people that watch me on YouTube, and you know, I am surprised how much stuff does, how many minutes are watched in a month.
Right.
You know, but there's always another way, and I gotta try that. So.
Yeah, that's it's just one of that's why this guy called me, and he's got his own. It's called KOTV. It's Keys Outdoors, and he's a big muskie fisherman.
Got the muskies up there, huh?
Well, yeah, I'm not even sure where he's from, but I mean, he's been doing it for 20 years, and on Fox. And he's got like, I think some of the bigger fishing guys on there, like Linders and Mitchell's on there, and they're looking for hunting content. And I just figured this is for where I'm at right now.
Yep.
it might work pretty good because I'll be one of the first hunting shows on there, and that means people are going to see it, because one of the things about going to some of these other platforms and you try to like YouTube or anything is there's 10,000 other things just like you, and it's like, how do you get people to see you?
I agree. No, and here's a problem is I do a radio show, so like nobody wants to see me.
No, I think, like you said, it's no difference in watching what's his name, the number one podcast in the world, Joe Rogan. You listen to it, but you watch it. It's the same thing. He puts it out there on where you can watch it.
I think what I need to do is I need to build a whole new website where I can do my live stuff, and people can directly go to my website. I think that's the key.
Yeah.
That way it's run inside. It's a internal type of thing.
Right. And the only thing about that, and again, I think you'll be able, I think the cost of it, that's why guys like this guy went to a streaming service or someone who has it, because if you build your own, Randy Newberg did that. He built his own, so he has no ties. It's his, it's like his website where it's live, his streaming. But with his streaming, he's got tons of people watching it. The bandwidth and stuff has got to be freaking phenomenal. I mean, because it ain't cheap.
What was it called back in the day? Live 365 or something, the URL radio and all those guys. And
Yep.
All right, stations. I got 7:03:45, and that's coming up here. So you guys can back time it here and see what the leg is. 7:03:45 on Mark. So sorry, John.
Nope, that's fine. So they pick it up off of YouTube and then stream it onto their radio stations through YouTube.
Yep.
Huh. Why? I have to talk to this guy because it might be something, because it's only $500 a year. I mean, this guy, and you got 36 million, again, that's households that it can hit. But, I don't know. I'm going to do it. We'll see what happens. He says that, they've had over 1 million, whatever, their first year. So I'm going to give it a whirl, because like I said, I'm still not sure where I'm going to head next year.
Yeah.
I got to get together with the boys and figure that out. And I don't know if KFYR would do if I just did one quarter and did 6 shows, because getting 13 shows,
it's a lot. Yeah.
It does, especially when no one else, we're not filming fishing and things like that, and we need to, but it's just getting tougher.
Yeah. 7:05 stations, 7:05:00 coming up here. 7:05:00 coming up on Mark. Specialized Dynamics out of Arizona is tuned in. Good morning. Appreciate that, Scott. Thank you for tuning in. All right. You ready for this, John?
I am.
You want to stir the pot, or you just want to be safe today?
You know me. I don't care about anything. You bring it up, I'll talk about it. I'm not bashful.
All right. Marital advice from John Arman. How to stay out of
jail, marital jail. Let your wife do whatever she wants.
All right, stand by. 20 seconds. Stand by. Ten-second stations, 10 seconds on Mark. Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to the Saturday edition of Dakota Prairie Outdoors. Good to have you along here this morning on a beautiful Saturday across the Dakota Territory, as the sun is just starting to try to peek up over the horizon here, and it's looking to be a pretty decent day. Maybe a little bit windy on the western side. I know the southern part of South Dakota had a heck of a storm yesterday, and the rest of us are looking for moisture here. John Arman from Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV joins me once again here today. John, good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
I am doing pretty darn good. I have a couple things. So the Golva Coyote tournament's going on today, along with, there's so many Coyote tournaments this weekend and next week, and there's a lot of them going on. But this Coyote tournament is one I started something, and I'm going to let everybody know what I did because I think it's important when you find a place that hosts a coyote tournament. Down in Sturgis, they did it at the Loud American. McLaughlin is one of the bars. You usually find a bar that hosts it, right, John? I mean, that's usually what a coyote tournament, that's where you come back to.
Yep.
Restaurant bar. So I started this thing in Galva years and years ago saying, how do we get people to come back if they get skunked? Because a lot of people, even fishing tournaments at the Dakota Walleye Classic, there was a whole bunch of teams that got skunked, and they're like, you know what the heck, we're just pulling out and calling it a day.
Yep.
That's not helping. The fundraising is what it's about. So here's what I did is anybody in Galva, it's in that tournament. If you guys get skunked, I have a digital night vision scope that I'm giving away for anybody that gets zeros. But you got to check back in and you got to put your name in the box. So that's how it goes.
That's a good idea. That's kind of like some of these big buck contests where they, instead of giving it to first place and having the guy that shoots a big buck in the state go to every contest,
yeah,
and win, it may be fifth place or seventh place.
Exactly. Some of the prizes I seen people say like, okay, there's first, fifth, 27th, and 38th place. That's who wins stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. I don't know. It's all about bringing back in the community and kind of helping out. And the Calcutta last night, I bought too many people. I bought like 8 teams. I did. I love Calcutta. It's what we do in this area. What do you do? Anyway, so the Galva tournament's going on here right now. There's a 24-hour hunt. They were able to go out last night and kind of do that night hunting, which is legal in the North Dakota side. South Dakota's had a long time. Montana, let me tell you, all the teams from Montana, as soon as they checked in, they started hunting. They took off and they went out hunting right away. Why is it that Montana? Go ahead.
I'm sorry, Scott. What's the law about shooting them or hunting them at night, and what do you got to use for optics and stuff like that? Do you got to have night vision, or can you use spotlights, or what can you do?
Which state are you talking about, John?
North Dakota.
Okay. In North Dakota, you have to wait until after deer season. That's when it starts, and it goes till March 15th. For some reason, they put a March 15th date. And they said, well, that's when all the fish houses have to be off the ice. I understand that, but my calving doesn't start until April 1st. And coyote hunting is year round. So that makes zero sense to me. But however, you can use digital night vision. You can use thermal imaging. And I believe, and don't quote me on this, but I think if you're going to use like a lighting, like a flashlight type of system, it has to be less than a certain amount of voltage. I think it has,
like 6 volts or something like that.
Yeah, I think so. So, I mean, but Montana, you can, I think that's pretty much wide. You can use a snowmobile in Montana, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know guys that use those razors and run them down.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know. I'd like to strap in one time with a GoPro on my head and just pray.
Well, did you hear? So I had last year I had, or maybe it was this spring, I had a guy from South Dakota. And this dude runs them down with dogs. And he goes out with his razor or whatever side by side, whatever brand they have. And as soon as he gets on a coyote, he opens up the door and the dogs jump out and take off after this coyote. And he's got videos on this, and it's actually it's pretty cool.
I saw one the other day on Facebook, and I don't know if it was him, but it was the same thing. The guy was just cruising along, and there's a coyote out in front of him. I thought, this guy going to run this coyote down with his ATV, and all of a sudden these dogs come flying out of this ATV and start just hauling butt after him.
Yeah, and these dogs are fast. I mean, I think he uses Dobermans or something like that, but I mean, they are after it. They get the coyotes pulled down, and I don't know. Here's the thing: is I think any legal way to go after predators, I think it's fine with me. And I had the same conversation last night at the check-in, and the cattle industry is in. There's like 5-6 different organizations trying to do things, and the hunting industry is the same way, John. I can say, well, I approve of chasing them with dogs, and somebody's going to call at me and say, no, that's not right. You shouldn't do dogs. Yeah. You shouldn't do this. Same thing with like crossbow hunting. Everybody's like so against this. Well, we need to go back to the heritage of hunting. Well, do you realize how long ago crossbows were made? It was like way before anything compound bows were ever made, you know? So, I don't know. We need to
Yeah,
stick together more.
yeah, it's, you know, and I deal with it. I dealt with it the other day, and we get comments on shows, and, you know, people, I would say 99% of the comments we get are positive. Even when I look at our YouTube videos, most of them are 98%, 95% thumbs up, you know, likes. And no, we got destroyed on our prairie dog one we put out just because everybody thought we were the world's worst shooters. And I tried to tell them it wasn't us, and it was guys that have never shot them before. But
Yeah.
it's just amazing how people feel comfortable telling you that they're disappointed in you and you let them down, and they're never going to watch your show again because you shot a deer laying down or you did this. And I'm like, you know, sometimes it's hard to answer them. I got a guy the other day and he was nice about it, but he said that, you know, he quoted Fred Bear because when we shot deer and Kurt shot a deer that he made a mistake on. And I mean, he wasn't mad about shooting the size of deer. It was the fact that we made a mistake shooting the deer that we didn't want to shoot, and we didn't take enough time to look at it through our spotting scopes. And we pride ourselves in picking out certain deer and going after them. And the only disappointment was we were disappointed in ourselves for making a mistake of shooting the wrong deer. And this guy just was like so upset that we didn't celebrate and we didn't do anything any different than we always do. We just said that Kurt said, I think I might have made a mistake. I shot the wrong deer.
Yeah.
But again, people have their opinion, and it's just crazy with social media and things now, how easy it is for people to bash each other and say they don't like this or don't like that. And I have never, ever got on anybody's page, no matter how bad I think they are or how much I dislike them, and say anything negative.
No. Keyboard warriors.
Yep.
That's all they are. The mayor of Mobridge says the deer had the option to stand up. You know that.
Well, and here's the way I look at it. Okay. So it was in Montana, and it was windy, and we were able to get on a mule deer that it was, you know, the end of the rut, and he was bedded down, and we laid down, and his head was going up and down. And it's like, you can sit there all day, which I just did, excuse me, out in Montana. But I would have probably shot the deer if I would have had a chance if he was laying down.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you just don't know what's going to happen. And I'm not sure what the difference is shooting a deer laying down is versus a deer standing broadside to you. We like to take the best ethical shot we can. And I guess if someone's going to shoot me, I'd rather have them shoot me while I'm sleeping.
Stand by here. We're up against our first break. John Harmon from Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV. The phone number is 888-932-5682. Feel free to call in. Back after these.
The North Dakota Stockman's Foundation will host a night of fun-filled Western elegance at the Stockman's Ball, December 11th in Bismarck. Come enjoy prime rib, auctions, entertainment, and dancing to live music. Build a legacy for the state's cattle industry through the foundation, which provides scholarships, disaster relief, research support, and more. It's a good time and for a good cause. For tickets, call 223-2522. That's the Stockman's Ball, December 11th in Bismarck.
When it comes to picking the right financial institution that best suits your unique banking needs, we invite you to come bank with Dakota Community Bank and Trust. Recently named North Dakota's best small bank and Newsweek's America's Best Banks in 2021, we believe that community banking can blend both the past with down-home customer service and the future with modern banking conveniences and technology for our online and mobile customers, all while honoring our long-standing tradition of community-first oriented banking. Here at Dakota Community Bank and Trust.
Our outdoor heritage is important to North Dakotans, and the state's oil and natural gas industry is advancing the possibilities for conservation. The North Dakota Outdoor Heritage Fund receives up to $40 million per biennium from oil and natural gas taxes. The industry is reclaiming land for future generations, and it's developing our state's natural resources in harmony with our great outdoors and wildlife. North Dakota Oil and Natural Gas, advancing the possibilities. Brought to you by the North Dakota Petroleum Foundation.
Piper's Western team of Andy Murdoch and Jim Sabby would like to invite you to sit down and talk about the future of land planning. Whether you're looking at selling, buying, or options to hand it down to the next generation, Andy and Jim will lay out all of the options for you. It's a great time to buy or sell, and with interest rates to make it profitable. Piper's Western Team, Andy Murdoch and Jim Savvy. For more information or land updates, go to pifers.com.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
Rockin' 7W has all the panels you need. Freestanding panels, windbreak panels, feeder panels, and the original protester panel. If you don't know what that is, it's a sort panel that makes sorting calves from a cow a breeze. You can do it in a fraction of time with just one person on foot or horseback. You can custom order sizes to fit your current operation, or you can start from scratch. Rockin' 7W also does trailer repair on any size trailers, mobile welding, and custom cattle hauling. Call Justin at Rockin' 7W at 701-206-1030. That's 701-206-1030. Rockin' 7W, the farmer and rancher's go-to guy. Western Frontier Insurance. Agents that understand you, your needs, and the community. Whether you're looking for coverage on your farm, ranch, home, or auto, you can trust that Western Frontier Insurance will find you a combination of price and coverage that works for you. No fancy jingles, no talking boxes or animals, just good neighbors helping to keep you covered. Western Frontier Insurance. Offices in Hazen, Washburn, and Wilton.
For over 80 years, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been your locally owned hometown bank, an honor we take great pride in. And our customer satisfaction has always been our most important goal. We've gone along with the communities we serve and will continue to do so with our pledge of modern banking convenience with old-fashioned hometown service. From remote deposit options to online mortgage applications, we are happy to serve you wherever you are. Learn more at dakotacommunitybank.com. That's dakotacommunitybank.com.
The North Dakota Stockmen's Foundation will host a night of fun-filled Western elegance at the Stockmen's Ball, December 11th in Bismarck. Come enjoy prime rib, auctions, entertainment, and dancing to live music. Build a legacy for the state's cattle industry through the foundation, which provides scholarships, disaster relief, research support, and more. It's a good time and for a good cause. For tickets, call 223-2522. That's the Stockmen's Ball, December 11th in Bismarck.
Time comes, I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around.
Welcome back, everybody. Dakota Prairie Outdoors Saturday edition continues this morning. A beautiful Saturday morning. If you're watching this as a replay, feel free to go to my channel, Dakota Prairie Outdoors Radio on YouTube. Here, John Arman from Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV is my guest. And before we get into it here, coming up Saturday, January 29th, it's the Schriefer Red Angus Bull Sale. Little different this year. We've had it at Dickinson. We had it at the Wicks Barn in south of Richard. And now they're having it at their ranch. Coming 2-year-olds here, Red Angus bulls, bred registered Red Angus heifers, commercial open yearling Red Angus heifers. And I tell you what here, it's at the ranch here just outside of Golden Valley, North Dakota in the heated facility, 5.5 miles north and 2 miles east of Golden Valley, Saturday, January 29th. And join me as well as everybody else at Schriefer Red Angus sale coming up that way. So, John, you gotta make some more bull sales, John.
Well, I don't know how many bulls I'll be buying, but they would be fun to go to because I'm sure it's always entertaining, and you get to meet a lot of nice people.
Well, and so Riley is going to be coming down to my place January 15th and coming on the radio with me, but he promised that he's going to cook. So one of the hunters, and you and I always discuss this, no matter when we come on the radio, is hunter and landowner relations. And this one guy this year, he dropped me off a cooler full of walleye. And I'm not a fish eating guy. And Riley says the way he makes it. So he says on the 15th, he's coming down doing the show with me here in studio at the ranch. and he's going to be cooking up walleye. So anybody that wants to come up and visit, evidently we have somebody cooking walleye, and we got a ton of it. So I would rather do like tenderloin, antelope tenderloin. I can do that. I could do burgers.
Man, I'll tell you what, you'll love the fish. I mean, like I said, even if you don't eat a lot of fish, eating deep fried fish, we have it almost every weekend at the ranch, and it's amazing. And then you can deep fry turkey nuggets if you shoot a turkey.
Deep frying goes with anything. I mean, if you deep fry it, it's got to be good.
You can deep fry a skunk, and I'm telling you, it's good.
I don't know about that.
You'd never know.
Somebody dared me one time. They said, I bet you can't eat prairie dog and or coyote. And I've tried both of them. And let me tell you, John, they're terrible.
I think
they're terrible.
Meat Eater ate a coyote. I think he said the same thing. It was not good.
It's terrible. Yeah, that's the bottom line. Everybody says, you got to eat what you kill, Scott. So I tried it. And let me tell you, those two things are not good at all. I'll tell you that. So, all right, keyboard warriors on hunting shows, John. The Dakota Territory has a lot of them. I don't know how long outdoor radio and TV has been going on in the Dakota Territory, but there's a lot of us. Just think about, I think in South Dakota alone, there's like 80 some different TV shows that people just do. I mean, it's a rich area, especially pheasant hunting and waterfowl hunting, especially in the prairie pothole area. But we deal with a lot of turmoil when it comes to people mouthing off. Now, let me ask you this. Are the people that go against what you do, are they hunters or are they completely animal rights activist people? Because the people coming at me are, I would say 99% of them, except for that one guy that's a professor out in Utah for some reason still is on my butt, but they are all people that are on the outdoor side of things. Right?
Yeah, that's just, it is. And that's the sad thing is that, YouTube, I will get the PETA people because they have no account. They're just professionals. That's all they do. But all I do is I just delete them. I ban them and delete them. I don't even say a word back. If it's an outdoorsman, then as soon as I get a message from somebody, I go to their page, look at them, see what try to get a little background about them. And when they're a hunter or a fisherman, then I struggle with it because, again, like you said, everybody can have their opinion, but the old saying, opinions are like buttholes. And
everybody's got one.
Everybody's got one. And it's like, it's how you state your opinion, whether you look like, excuse my language, a jackass, or just an average guy. And you can state your opinion and do it in a polite way. And have a good conversation about it instead of hammering on somebody and starting controversy. Because if you have a question about what we do, then just ask me.
Yeah.
And I have no problem asking. But if you start slamming me and say you're never watching our show again, again, my first response is then don't watch it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to.
Yeah.
But they still watch it, because they want to see. It's like they just wait for people to mess up and they like to complain. And we're our own worst enemies, whether it's muzzleloaders, whether it's size of buck you shoot. And again, I get caught up in it too, because I have my own opinions about youth season, about all that stuff. And again, you just have to talk it through. You can't, again, I don't get on the air and say, I hate this or I hate that. I talk about it. I say, is there, with the youth season, my opinion on it is I love it, but I would like the buck tag to be only used during the regular season and not early season.
Mm-hmm.
That's my opinion. And I can talk about why I feel that way. I'm not going to say take it away or hammer it and say the guys that are out there, are doing wrong and shooting their kids deer or anything like that. You can have a conversation and figure things out. And we got to do more of that instead of just bashing each other.
Yeah, I agree. There's poking fun at each other here and there about, one thing or another. But when you get on the internet side of things, everybody's 10 feet tall and bulletproof, man.
Yeah.
Is
and
what it is.
We have enough trouble staying alive in this industry the way it is. And then when you fight amongst yourself, it doesn't do any good.
Last night, I'm sitting at the Galva bar. and they're doing the check-in for the Coyote tournament. I'm not being able to do that because tonight, John, I'm at the Stockman's Foundation's ball in Bismarck. I'll be driving up there after I get off the air here today. And the MC might help with the auction a little bit here and raise money. And what's nice about this is they raise money for any kids that want to go to college in the egg business side of things. They'll give scholarships to.
That's awesome.
It's a great thing, right? But I was approached last night by somebody that says, oh, you support the Stockman's Association, so you like this extra dollar going to the NCBA and all this, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, whoa, hold on. You know, we're in the same industry. We're in the cattle industry. Let's talk about this like good adults. And same thing, whether it's hunting, agriculture side of things, we're still fighting with each other on that. And wouldn't it be nice if we could all get together, think how strong we could be about everything. I mean, the amount of money, you know, if the Fish and Wildlife Service, Game and Fish, everybody got together with the landowners and the hunters all got together. Yeah, holy moly, could we be a powerful powerhouse? It'd be fun, is what it would be.
That makes too much sense, Scott.
Now, I have never ever been accused of making too much sense. But if you say that loud enough on YouTube, I'm going to have my wife watch it on the way up to Bismarck today, and I'm going to say, this is a very educated, this is a teacher. Here's a professional that's in the school system that thinks that I make sense. And I'm going to use that all day long.
Well, you have to make sense because there was a teacher somewhere along the line that helped you along, Scott, and made you the person you were. So
I know the name right now. Yeah. I had a teacher in high school, in Flasher High School, that would write on the chalkboard. And yes, I'm that old that we still had chalkboards. And he would write common sense. He would get so mad at us, and he would just blow up and go on this common sense spiel. And it still sticks with me today. And that teacher is Mr. Heinley. I don't even know his first name, but I think he still teaches there.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
And like I said, I tell people, it's not just because I'm a teacher. It's, you know, if you think about it, the people that you spend a majority of your time with are your teachers. I mean, you're with them 8 hours a day. They, you know,
they shape you.
Grade school. They really do. And again, there's, like any profession, there's great teachers, there's medium teachers, there's poor teachers. I'm not going to get into that thing, but we can all look back at that one teacher or two teachers that you remember as a kid that really made your day. And I've always said that where I teach, my job, I'm not so worried about the X's and O's. I'm the guy that wants to high five and the hugs, and I want to make their day better. I want them to come to school and want to be at school, and I want them to leave thinking I can't wait to go back to school. You know, make it fun for them, make them enjoy it, and the rest of it follows, you know.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to come back here. We'll talk. If people want to call in, they can tell. Let's give a shout out to your teacher. We'll be back right here on Dakota Prairie Outdoors after these messages.
The North Dakota Stockman's Foundation will host a night of fun-filled Western elegance at the Stockman's Ball, December 11th in Bismarck. Come enjoy prime rib, auctions, entertainment, and dancing to live music. Build a legacy for the state's cattle industry through the foundation, which provides scholarships, disaster relief, research support, and more. It's a good time and for a good cause. For tickets, call 223-2522. That's the Stockman's Ball, December 11th in Bismarck.
When it comes to picking the right financial institution that best suits your unique banking needs, we invite you to come bank with Dakota Community Bank and Trust. Recently named North Dakota's best small bank and Newsweek's America's Best Banks in 2021, we believe that community banking can blend both the past with down-home customer service and the future with modern banking conveniences and technology for our online and mobile customers, all while honoring our long-standing tradition of community-first oriented banking. Here at Dakota Community Bank and Trust.
Our outdoor heritage is important to North Dakotans, and the state's oil and natural gas industry is advancing the possibilities for conservation. The North Dakota Outdoor Heritage Fund receives up to $40 million per biennium from oil and natural gas taxes. The industry is reclaiming land for future generations, and it's developing our state's natural resources in harmony with our great outdoors and wildlife. North Dakota Oil and Natural Gas, advancing the possibilities. Brought to you by the North Dakota Petroleum Foundation.
Piper's Western team of Andy Murdoch and Jim Savvy would like to invite you to sit down and talk about the future of land planning. Whether you're looking at selling, buying, or options to hand it down to the next generation, Andy and Jim will lay out all of the options for you. It's a great time to buy or sell, and with interest rates to make it profitable. Piper's Western team, Andy Murdoch and Jim Savvy. For more information or land updates, go to pifers.com.
It's every American's right to bear arms. At Mandan Sporting Goods, we're here to help you support your Second Amendment rights, which reads, a well-regulated militia being necessary to the security of a free state, the right of the people to keep and bear arms shall not be infringed. Whether you're looking for a pistol for personal defense or collector gun, we have the staff to help you. We also have the area's largest inventory of ammo and reloading supplies.
Mandan Sporting Goods, the area's local gun and ammo specialists.
Rockin' 7W has all the panels you need. Freestanding panels, windbreak panels, feeder panels, and the original protester panel. If you don't know what that is, it's a sort panel that makes sorting calves from a cow a breeze. You can do it in a fraction of time with just one person on foot or horseback. You can custom order sizes to fit your current operation, or you can start from scratch. Rockin' 7W also does trailer repair on any size trailers, mobile welding, and custom cattle hauling. Call Justin at Rockin' 7W at 701-206-1030. That's 701-206-1030. Rockin' 7W, the farmer and rancher's go-to guy. Western Frontier Insurance. Agents that understand you, your needs, and the community. Whether you're looking for coverage on your farm, ranch, home, or auto, you can trust that Western Frontier Insurance will find you a combination of price and coverage that works for you. No fancy jingles, no talking boxes or animals, just good neighbors helping to keep you covered. Western Frontier Insurance. Offices in Hazen, Washburn, and Wilton.
For over 80 years, Dakota Community Bank and Trust has been your locally owned hometown bank, an honor we take great pride in. And our customer satisfaction has always been our most important goal. We've gone along with the communities we serve and will continue to do so with our pledge of modern banking convenience with old-fashioned hometown service. From remote deposit options to online mortgage applications, we are happy to serve you wherever you are. Learn more at dakotacommunitybank.com. That's dakotacommunitybank.com.
The North Dakota Stockmen's Foundation will host a night of fun-filled Western elegance at the Stockmen's Ball, December 11th in Bismarck. Come enjoy prime rib, auctions, entertainment, and dancing to live music. Build a legacy for the state's cattle industry through the foundation, which provides scholarships, disaster relief, research support, and more. It's a good time and for a good cause. For tickets, call 223-2522. That's the Stockmen's Ball, December 11th in Bismarck.
Don't you worry, one day I'll settle down. And when that time comes, I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around. I hope you're still around.
Welcome back, everybody. It's Dakota Prairie Outdoors Saturday edition across all great radio stations. KGFX in Pierre, South Dakota, KOLY in Mobridge, KFYR Bismarck, Mandan, KLTC in Dickinson, and KCJB in Minot. John Arman from Ultimate Outdoor Adventures TV is my guest here. John, welcome back to the radio program. And, you know, we were talking about Marty Beard during the break. He says that you're against hound hunting. So what's going on with that? Why are you against hounds?
No, I'm not against hounds. I think it's probably because I didn't call him back the other day. We were supposed to go coon hunting, but I figured we weren't going because of the storm. But knowing him, he was probably out in the middle of the blizzard.
Guaranteed. You know,
Yeah.
So you and I were discussing different social media platforms. And I'm following Marty Beard on TikTok because he is permanently kicked off of Facebook because he's such a mean guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, if you follow him on TikTok, he's got a new group of puppies that he is training in to go coon hunting or chasing anything. And it is probably one of the better things that I've seen on TikTok. So.
No, he's a funny guy. I tell you what, Marty Beard is one of those guys that if I was ever in a fight, I'd want him in my corner big time, no matter if it's political, fist fights or whatever. He's a guy that that will help anybody. If you're his friend, he'll give you the shirt off his back, and if you're his enemy, he will spend as much money as it takes to bury you or do anything.
Yeah.
So he's one of those guys that has got a heart of gold, and he's funnier than hell. And we should have him call in because he used to imitate a guy named Roy D. Mercer.
Roy D. Mercer.
Yep.
Yeah. So here's
And
the
he
thing:
was-
is people our age, John, and older are like, Roy D. Mercer. Everybody younger is like, who's this guy? But they used to do phone pranks. They used to call people and do phone. I used to use Roy D. Mercer as my morning material when I was still doing morning radio programs. That's how back in the 90s. So that's how.
And Marty's good at it. He could imitate him, and he'd get people on the phone, and he'd prank them. And that was back before cell phones. And I think someone told me one time that his long distance bill was $400 or $500 that first month because he was doing it to everybody, and he was good at it. So yeah, he's a well-educated man that is quite entertaining. He may fool you sometimes, but he's a hell of a guy.
Before I forget, the 10th annual one-day three-tail pheasant tournament is coming up next weekend. And this is going to be so Little. I know you guys know Little's Bar up in that Pick City area, but they had a fire last year, so they're holding the tournament at the Dam Bar because of that fire. But anyway, so I made sure I make comment to that here this morning. So.
Yeah, I got to get out and shoot a pheasant. That's the next few weeks, man. Trying to get some goose hunting in and some pheasant hunting in, and it's just
goose hunt.
I don't know.
I drove through 2 weeks ago. My buddy got married in Wilmer, Minnesota. I took Highway 12 all the way out and all the way back, and let me tell you, about between Aberdeen and Selby, South Dakota, I've never seen more snow geese in my life. There was, there must have been tens of thousands of them. And it's just unbelievable, and all on the stubble fields, of course, but it is unbelievable. The waterfall, what do they call this? The eastern side, kind of the central and eastern side of the Dakota Territory is that fly zone, I think they call it. What do they call that? But if you're going to go if you're going to go waterfall hunting, that's the area to go. It's unbelievable. So I did it in Devil's Lake years ago, John. I had a gentleman and that took me, it was the early season. And the limit was 15. And I was trying to record radio programs at the same time and sitting in these little pop-up things where, as soon as the geese come up, you sit upright and you start shooting like crazy. Yeah. It was a great time. It took us, 3 of us, we limited out in 40 minutes. That's how fast it was. It was awesome.
No, it's a lot of fun. I mean, these waterfall hunters are pretty serious, and the goose is if you know how to make it on a Traeger, on a pellet grill, you can do all kinds of things. A lot of people don't like it, but I think it's because you don't know how to cook it, and it's it actually is very good, and they're a lot of fun to hunt.
They are a lot of fun to hunt, and there's it's a renewable resource, for crying out loud. Holy moly! I found Marty Beard on TikTok. Did you find? So here's the thing, TikTok. I'm getting. Are you on Snapchat too, John?
No, I don't do Snapchat, and I don't do TikTok. But I found Marty on the computer.
Yeah, it's called if you want to follow him, it's called They Are Treed is his handle on that. But anyway, it's a lot of fun. He's got some new pup. Here's the thing about being what we do in our area. You got to be on every social media platform that there is, or at least the ones that matter, and where you're going to be seen and everything. So I'm on every single one of them, and my phone starts dinging like crazy when I'm doing this show. Nobody wants to call in. They're all scared. I talked to Wayne Muth yesterday. Wayne.
Yep.
We're working on a Mule Deer Foundation thing coming up in January, February in Mandan, and he spends most of his time in Medora. So he just needs to move out here and just be done with it. That's what he needs to do. Just retire out here, and I can put him to work fixing fence.
That wouldn't be a bad idea.
I don't think so. Yeah. Look at that. I got all kinds of messages coming in here. He says, have you ever done any coyote hunting? Why don't you do coyote hunting shows, John? Here.
Oh, I get asked that all the time. Honestly, because I just don't do it. I'm going to try to do it maybe in the next few weeks and get out. I know nothing about it. I've been out with some guys, everybody talks about it, and I know it's a lot of fun, but it's one of those deals that when our big game season is kind of over, I have burnt a lot of bridges with my family and have been gone every weekend. And so when it starts getting into coyote season, I just got to figure out how to get out and do it. It's kind of like with ice fishing too, that it's kind of my time to relax a little bit.
Yeah.
And in the January, February, but I'm going to try to get out and do it. It's just one of those things. There's plenty of them. I can go in my backyard and do it, and I might do it. And like I said, it's just one of those things that just time. I need to retire.
Oh, come on now.
Yeah, I need to retire.
You can't
from school
retire
so
when
I
you're
can
having fun.
No, I need to retire from school so I can hunt more.
Okay. So a lot of people that are listening, some people know, some people don't know. You're a school teacher. And what would you say your job is? You work with
disabled. I'm a special education teacher, so I work with kids that were kind of like you, Scott, in school, just a little bit slow, you know.
Thanks, John.
That's why. Why do you think I get along with you so well? No, I work with the disabled kids. Intellectually disabled, physically disabled, and kids with autism. It's something I did when I was 14 years old. I had a little boy, a young man with Down syndrome, was hanging on the fence, and I was coaching Little League baseball. And he sat there, had his boots on his wrong feet, and he just came every day and watched us. And one day I said, "Hey, would you like to play?" And so the kids took to him, and he started playing with us. And I just kind of fell in love with kids that just didn't have the same chances as everybody else. They were kind of the underdog. And I did Special Olympics in college, and I didn't know what I wanted to do in life. And it was just something that was kind of my calling. And I like younger kids. I like the elementary age. And so I've been doing it for 31 years. And it's been something that I may not make $1 million, but I come out of there feeling like $1 million every day when I get the hugs and things.
So on behalf of everybody that's listening right now and know you, don't retire. We need people like you.
No, thank you.
We do, you know, and that's a huge thing. I mean, teachers, like you said earlier, when we first started the program, teachers are a big part of your life. Spend 8 hours a day, 9 months out of the year with them. And I think it's pretty important like that. So keep doing what you're doing. I'm sure that the parents that know you don't want you to retire either.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that. Like I said, it's one of those deals I've always said I will keep teaching as long as they want me there. And so far, I'm still good. So I'll keep going a few more years.
Well, we need people all around the country, you know, especially when so here's the thing about getting kids into hunting, into fishing, you know, everything that we do in the outdoor industry, even into agriculture. I think it all ties together pretty well. We need people that will step up and do this and take these kids out. And you've done that this year. I seen quite a few posts that you guys have taken some youth hunters out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's important, I think, and it was no different in school. I try to do videos to show kids the ag side of things, you know, being out in the country and being with horses. And a lot of these kids don't get the experiences that we had as kids. And most of them, when you remember a show and tell type deal when you're a kid, you got to tell what you did over the weekend. 90% of the kids talk about playing on video games. And that's hard. So I'm trying to get kids, you know, whether starting the archery in the schools program, starting an archery camp, the youth hunting is like I said, and I love it. It was one of my best years ever. I was involved in a family that was in a kind of a pickle because of EHD, and their boy had his first buck tag, and we were able to get him a mule deer. And then we got his older brother a whitetail buck, and I had a blast. You know, and then I took a couple other first-time doe hunters, and again, it kind of makes you think about why you really hunt, because we all get caught up in chasing big deer, and it's so intense. And when you get out there with the kids, it's the last thing on your mind. It brings you down to earth and makes you realize that hunting is about family and time and memories and all that, not about the big deer you shoot, because most of the time you're not going to shoot that big deer, but it's about the time being in camp and doing things with your friends and family.
You know, another thing about add on to deer hunting, John, and I think one of the best times I've had is when it comes down to making sausage.
Oh yeah.
You know,
That
that's a fun time. You get everybody together. It's a great time. I know a buddy of mine this weekend, I think, or next weekend, they got a group of people, and they got like 10 deer that they're going to be processing, and it's a 2.5, maybe 3 day party, and that's kind of part of finishing off the entire season.
Yes, and when we were kids, I remember that we would go over to Ronald Burkhartzmeyer's shop, and Dad's buddies and everybody. A lot of beer consumed, and as kids, we played around. But I remember running the sausage grinder, and everything was by hand, man,
Mhm.
and stuffing the sausage and doing all that, and that is a big part of it. And it's sad because not a lot of people make their own stuff anymore. Everybody's in a hurry, but I've started getting back into it. My brother starts making his own stuff, and I've been doing my jerky and things like that. But it's part of it. That's all part of the experience when when you're in the outdoors, and it's no different when you go to a branding.
Yeah.
It's the whole experience.
Yeah. Which you have not come down to my branding yet, John.
Okay, you just gotta remember this.
Come on.
When you have it, you have to have it on a Saturday, Sunday. Saturday, Sunday, I can come, but if you this last year you had it on a Friday again.
What does
I'm
that
always
matter?
out
The
of date.
school is done.
No, you had it in May, I think, this year, and I was still in school because I was planning on making it. And I'll have to look back at the text, so you got to get it, like I said, and I'll round up. Hopefully, it can be the time, and Levi and I will come out.
Oh, Levi would love it out here. Here's the problem. I'm worried about Levi coming out because when we do our first roundup, he's going to go in that backcountry. We're not going to see him.
Yeah, probably.
He's going to be out there scouting for elk and mule deer and everything else, and everybody else is up on the road trying to push the cattle up, and he's still out back calling coyotes or something.
Yeah, he's a funny guy. I helped him this year. And I don't know if you saw my video I made with him. He's riding his horse, and he sits the horse pretty well. I was thinking that big boy would be bouncing all over. He looked like old Hoss going down the road, and I played the Bonanza music in the background.
Maybe that's his new nickname, Levi.
Hoss.
Big Hoss.
Yeah, he's a good kid.
He is good.
So
well, he was antelope hunting in Montana a couple years ago, and he called me up, and we met in Baker, Montana. We sat down, had a little lunch and a beer, and I mean that's the kind of guy he is. No matter where you are, he'll get in touch with you. That's nice.
Yeah, he's a good kid. Like I said, he's helped me a lot, and we're, like I said, we struggle a little bit getting our schedules together because he's on the shift work, but we got to spend some time.
Shift work. What's he doing now?
Well, he's out at the plants. He's a security guard out at the plants, and so he works night shift and
big money.
Yeah, he's trying to get in and trying to get on days, which would be helpful. Like I said, the hard thing in that shift work is unless you got a buddy that's on shift work, you spend a lot of time by yourself because of the days, the way it works with night shift and working during the week and off on weekends and vice versa. So
let me ask you this: if he's a security, does he get to carry a gun?
No, I think just his big presence, and I think it's just checking people in and out at the plant and things like that. I don't think they have guns on.
Does he at least get to carry a baseball bat or something? Or
I don't know. I'm not sure if he carries anything, but apparently he's doing a good job because they haven't fired him and he hasn't quit, and so he's doing well.
We all need that extra income when it's the egg side of things and hunting. It's kind of it's expensive, isn't it?
Oh yeah, he talks about the egg side when he, and again when you first start out and you have 13 heifers or 14 heifers, and there's a mortality rate out there, and if you lose one, it's a big chunk. When you have 1,000 and you lose one or two, it doesn't seem much, but when you have, and so I hear about that. So he's been doing that, getting into that more with his dad. The ranching side, he's always been a ranch kid, but he's starting to, get vested in it and buying cows and things like that. So
we need people to feed the world, man, and that's nice to see young kids getting into it.
Oh yeah, hardworking kid, no doubt.
Somebody told me, he said, no matter how big a herd you have, like a 3 to 5% death loss still means the same if you have 10 head or if you have 10,000. It's a lot.
It does. It does hurt, And like I said, I've heard the guys talk about, like when they hire a hired man, they give them a percentage because if you're vested in that percentage, you might get up a few more times checking calves, and that kind of thing. So like I said, it's not an easy life. There's a reason. Like I always tell people, I know enough about farming ranch, and not to do it, because I would stroke out. I love it. I love the lifestyle. I love sitting on a horse, sitting on a tractor. But yeah, when like this year, no rain and stuff, I don't know how guys stay alive. I would be like ready to jump off a bridge.
Yeah, it's funny. You know, last night we were talking about mental health in rural areas, and it's something the guys got to be taking heed of. You know, if you know somebody that's in the rural area that's by themselves, go stop in and talk to them a little bit. You know, just have a communication, have a little talk, call them on the phone or whatever you need to do. It's important to do that.
It is, and I really, that's the biggest thing hunters need to understand. 90% of these farmers and ranchers, you stop in and have a cup of coffee with them, it changes things.
Yep.
If you come by and they get to see you and you stop in and see them, that relationship starts building right there. Most of those, people, like you said, they're working hard. They don't get to see a lot of people. It is just nice to have someone come by and say hello and share a cup of coffee, or like you said, drop off a pack of walleye or whatever, some sausage you made. Again, it's just a nice way to build that relationship.
Here's one thing you don't want to do to a rancher: stop in and bring them like some steaks and say, these steaks are better than
best.
anything you could ever grow around here. Don't do
Unless you bought them from him.
Exactly.
Don't do that. And like I said, it's again, a lot of it's a thought that counts. It's not the size of the gift. It's just the presence of you coming in. And I was talking to a guy that actually works for the Federal Fish and Wildlife, and he does a lot of stuff for us and land and things like that. And we were talking about landowner relationships, and there just needs to be so much more done on that.
Yeah. Well, it seems like everybody's pushing private landowners out more and more, and just kind of getting to be a fight. It's just nice as somebody just stop in and say hi once in a while, and if we say no and they're fine with it, they'll probably be getting access to it sooner than later. So,
they do. And one of the points he made, which was a good one, like in Montana and even North Dakota. So if you're a guide and outfitter, and say you control whatever, you can't get any funds from them. You can't get anything to help your business. There's no money given to you whatsoever. Like it's kind of like anti guide, anti this. It's you can't apply for fencing. You can't apply for anything. If you're making money off hunting, they think it's evil.
Yep.
And what they forget is that outfitter, or say you're a rancher doing the same thing, they're getting better about doing some of the stuff for the private landowner.
John, I'm going to cut you off right there. We're going to continue on YouTube here with this same conversation. Thank you for tuning in across the Dakota Territory and all the great radio stations. Find me at DakotaPrairieOutdoors.com. Eat some meat, drink some milk. We'll continue this conversation on YouTube. Thank you, stations. All right, John, continue on, my friend. Here, we're still live on YouTube.
All right. So, the point is that, so this outfitter, and again, I don't use a lot of outfitters, but I have friends that are outfitters. One that's in Montana in particular, and he runs a beautiful ranch. I mean, beautiful, 36,000 acres. Started with nothing. Started as a sheep farmer, rancher, and has built up a beautiful place. Guiding has got him through some tough years,
Yeah, absolutely.
That extra money and stuff like that. Well, there's no guaranteed tags, so you got 20 guys putting in and you may get 2 hunters. There's no money that you can't apply for. Like if you want to put in food plots, they're not going to give you food plot stuff. They're not going to give you money or anything like that, because you're an outfitter and you're benefiting off of wildlife. And they forget that the guys that he brings in spend, triple, quadruple the money for tags, so that boosts, huge economy for the game and fish. And when they come into towns, when they go shopping, all the money that they bring in, to me, it's a win-win for everybody. And I just don't think they should pick out the private landowner or pick out, whoever and say that you can't get money for it. If they're helping hunting in general, why wouldn't they work with them instead of against them. And I
I agree.
understand if you,
Yeah.
I understand people that they get frustrated, and it's I get too, and it's a jealousy thing too. I don't make enough money to go on these big elk hunts and stuff like that, and it's too bad that it is that way. But if you think on how things have progressed over the years and stuff like that, with losing some area to hunt and things, but there's better hunting in a lot of areas because of the management and
Yeah.
I don't know.
I look at, and don't get me wrong, I think the plots program, like with anything, everything starts out with good intentions, but eventually it turns into not. Okay. And so the plots program and the open lands in South Dakota, I think, was a great idea in its time. But now it has become more of a how much money can I get? And, and it's not a management issue. If the Game and Fish's job is to manage wildlife, manage the wildlife.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have a plots 3 sections and there's 27 people and they're hunting it on deer season, that's not management at all.
Yeah. No. And again, when I was talking to this gentleman, one of the things is like these advisory board meetings, and he was so disappointed in being at some of these because, and again, I get to him. I think it's more of a dog and pony show. And again, I'm not going to pick on the Game and Fish, but I don't know if they really listen to the people and what they're complaining about or what they're talking about, or is it just, let them vent and then we're over with it, because you almost have to get a legislature and get someone behind you to get something written to change something to make changes, hopefully for the better. And
that's a tough thing about the advisory board meetings is you can say things, and I didn't make this year's because I was at a wedding, or at an auction back over in Sioux Falls. But when they say, well, we're going to look into that. And then you ask them next year the same question, and they say, well, we're going to look into that.
Right. And that's what I mean. And then again, too, I talked to you about it. And if anybody from the Game and Fish is listening, I would really appreciate if they would record these so we could watch them. I mean, if this is truly why with our technology today, you could run a live stream, and even if you don't want to take questions online, which would be tough, but just stream it.
I don't think it would be tough at all. I think that's a great idea. There would be more people attending that meeting if they could do it remotely than to drive all. They had it in Amadon this year. Our district is huge. Some people, that's 100 miles to go to Amadon to get this meeting, but they would tune in on their phone.
Right. And again, it's one of those deals that, when we do Facebook Live or whatever, people shoot in questions, some of them you can answer, some of them you can't, but you could always get back to those questions. You could have someone answer some of those later on, not live. And I thought they had recorded them at one time, and I missed ours, and I like to go just to hear what's going on. But there's a lot of things, like when you talk about the plots land and getting over hunted, and again, that's the tough thing. I said our deer tag numbers, are going to be going down, but deer are allocated on. So you think about it, if you're out there in the Badlands, and if you take a 10 square mile area out by you, how many of those are private land, and how much of it is posted? I would say all of it's posted, and the majority of it is, private land. Just take out the public land, but all the private land, all your buddies that that ranch and stuff, they have people that hunt there. So, out of that area, there might be, 100 people hunting there, but then they allocate X amount of tags for that area, and it's based off of the deer population, but most of that deer population is on private land.
Right.
And so all these people have tags and nowhere to hunt. And so then that one piece of public land that you have there gets just smoked.
Yeah.
And again, I've said before, I think there could be some better ways, and I know people don't like change, but in some of these areas, and it's like these extra doe tags, and they just pawn them off, and people have no place to hunt. And so then there's 300 extra doe tags. That means we have, say, 150 more guys hunting in that unit, and there's only small chunks of public land. So what does that do? That wrecks that public land because there's too many guys hunting it, and then you got guys driving all over. And I just think there'd be a better way to do some of it, like Wyoming does, where they got an A and a B tag, or a type 1, type 2, one's for private, one's for public. They allocate the amount of tags for public on the amount of public land they have in that unit. You know, so then that guy that puts in that tag, he wants to hunt public, then he can hunt public and not have to compete with 1,000 guys, and they only give out 100 tags for that area for that public land. So it's just a little bit better control of some of the tags and in those areas, so you have a better quality hunt. And again, I don't know all of it. I definitely don't have all the answers, but I just think that we could maybe do some things to make things a little bit better.
Yep.
And one thing I'd really like to see, I would like to see absolutely zero road hunting allowed in North Dakota.
That would be awesome. Then you're gonna get the people fighting you saying, "Well, I'm 75 years old and I can't walk anymore," you know. And
well, again, you can drive. If you see a deer, you can park your car and you can get out. You know, but just driving up and down roads, and again, having, like I said, I just trying to make things, like I said, so it's not so like I get to the point where I hate rifle season. I truly, as much as I love rifle hunting in North Dakota, all I worry about is either getting shot or people driving up and down roads and shooting off roads. Like I said, the amount of deer sometimes that we find, you know, we found a doe this year, 30 yards off the gravel road with a hole right behind her front shoulder, in an area that's no hunting, and that's the stuff that frustrates me. And doesn't South Dakota have where you can't road hunt?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure on that. They're pretty tough on road hunting. If you jump out of your vehicle and leave your doors open, they're pretty tough on that. South Dakota's pretty rough and tough with their laws.
Yeah, like I said, I want people to have a good experience about hunting. And I guess everybody's experience is, I guess some guys like jumping out of the car, shooting one, and that's their hunting, that's their style. And I guess to each his own. It's not something that I would again, if there was 180-inch deer as I'm driving to my spot and I jump out of my truck and on our property, shoot it legally. Yeah, I could do it. Would I feel good about it? Probably not. It wouldn't mean as much as sitting on a hill and spending that time, but again, that's just the way we're wired.
Yeah. Yeah, I hear that.
Yeah, but I would like the Game and Fish too to do more. They should be doing a podcast, and they should be talking about EHD and CWD and giving information out. And
here's my issue with that whole thing. Okay, so I wish the Game and Fish would still come on. They refuse to come on with me.
Why?
Because they don't like me. And here's the problem. Because I'm going to ask questions like I'm going to talk to you right now. Here's the thing. We had 90% plus whitetails die from EHD this year. They don't say anything about it. They don't try to work on it. They don't try to figure out what we can do differently. Is there mineral a guy can put out that, or with some type of medication in it or anything? No. They're worried about that one CWD deer that died, and they're going to stop baiting, and they're going to stop this, and they're going to, this isn't allowed and this isn't allowed. But they're okay watching 90% of the whitetail die out here. That's bullshit. That's bullshit, and they're not freaking stepping up to the plate on that.
Well, and that was one of the reasons I wanted to, and I talked to this gentleman about that, and he said all they said is we're just going to wait and see. And again, I think that the Game and Fish has to be proactive on this, and they should be talking to certain landowners in certain areas and certain guys. There's guys that have a pulse, like Jacob, a buddy of mine. That guy lives in Kildare, and he knows his area. He knows every deer. He knows exactly, and I don't even know the number, but I want to say it was up to 30 deer that he had in cameras and knew ages and everything about them, and he found almost every one of them dead.
Yeah.
And he said the same thing. He feels 90% in that unit or in his area died.
Yeah.
And again, like at our ranch, it's kind of funny because we found 30 of them without really looking. So, and we had good population deer. So I'm gonna say we lost at least 20 to 30% of our deer on our ranch area. Well, other places right next to us may not have lost as many, but they don't have the population they
Right.
do. We do. So, but there's a lot of deer gone. And again, I'm going to cringe next year if they give out the same tags they did. And
They're not going to. Let's go here. Wayne Muth is with us here. Wayne, how you doing?
Hey, good morning, guys. How you doing?
Good. How you doing, buddy?
Good, John. See, what do you guys think? Do you think that the Game and Fish Department should start separating bow tags into units? This is the point I'm going to bring across is that I hunt the Badlands. Scott mentioned that earlier. I'm always out there, but so we're out there and we're going to hunt it whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. But now that these guys deer are dying all over the state, especially in the western part, so where are they going to go to hunt? Everybody's going out west. There has been more traffic, more people out there all over, and yeah, they have the right to do that, but it's the only thing that's open that they can find deer in maybe, and that's where they're going. So maybe it's time to start saying, hey, you know what, if you're going to bow hunt, let's pick a unit, bow hunt that unit, we separate it out, they manage it better. Maybe that's the route to go. What do you guys think?
I think I've said it because I've even though I don't hunt out there, I hear from guys like you and other people how tough it is getting out there. I think that is exactly what they should be doing. It should be no different than how they allocate those like youth tags. You can get only a certain number of youth can get drawn for the Badlands, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they like if you just the one kid I took out could hunt mule deer in my unit, but he couldn't hunt in all those units out there. So why not do that with archery tags? You can still hunt your tag throughout the whole state, except those 4 units or whatever out there. And have to be drawn for that, and that'd make a big difference.
Yeah. Yeah, and like my wife said, she goes, maybe later on in the year you open it up that you can go everywhere or something, but limit it because there's such a, and you talk about impact on public land, you talk about impact on Scott and the ranchers out there. When you have everybody that wants to go out there and they're running up and down Scott's Road and asking them to hunt and they're bow hunting, or then you have your gun hunters doing the same thing. It gets a little bit inundated, for people bothering them and traffic on the road and whatnot. So I just think it could be managed better. Not to say I would get a tag out there every year if they're going to draw tags, but I'd still be out there. It's kind of that way.
No, and I agree with it. And we were just talking about Montana because one guy was saying he shot something and he was talking about how bad it's getting in Montana and it's because of the non-residents. And I told him, I said, I'm a non-resident and I love hunting Montana. I said, when you allocate a buck tag to every person in Montana and you don't have units to hunt, I said, it does not take long. I said, North Dakota's population would be decimated in 2 years, if everybody got a buck tag and could go wherever they want. I said, you can't do that. That's not management,
Right.
And Montana's got like Alvin Cordell, who has outfits. He said 90% of the people now are coming to their area because they have Eastern Montana's got good deer numbers. All the residents are coming there, and because every resident can come there. Because they all have buck tags, so one could come there, or 10,000 or 20,000 could come there, and there's nothing they can do about it.
Yeah. So yeah, and Scott, you brought up a great point earlier about the plot stuff. I never really thought of it as such that's not game management. Or John, you did. It's not game management. It's just giving them a place to go, and it's kind of like putting a pacifier in a little kid. Here you go. You got a place to hunt. Quit complaining.
Yep.
Even though there's no deer on it, or there's minimal sized deer, or whatever your avenue is here. So.
You know what their issue is? When I tell them that, they go, well, we don't pay everybody the same. I'm like, well, you shouldn't be paying a guy shit for his land if there's nothing there. I mean, no offense, but if you're allowed, if you have a field and it's nothing, I mean, it's absolutely nothing, grazed down to nothing. Why are they paying that guy? And I'm all for paying the landowners, but there should be, they got to manage it better. You can't, both sides of it. You can't have a rancher, like I said, I know when we're in a drought, like we have CRP, when you're in a drought, you're allowed to hay it. But I know there's like plots down by us. It's like, it's mowed down every year, grazed down to nothing, and it's in plots. And I'm thinking, okay, does it do anybody any good to have it in the plots? For one thing, why not spend the money and get a better place, manage it better? And like, even with Montana, with their block, where at least type 2, you have to get permission to be in there, and they only allow certain people or so many people in there. So you don't get, because there's some of these, you know, we've been down there the second weekend, and you look in the box, and or the tags that have been allocated already, there's already been 1,000 guys gone through there.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I've seen that too. Or you see how many people's signed in already, and you've got, 15 people on this section of land that's already on it. And, it's not going to do you any good to go through it, so.
Yeah. Justin Thiel was talking about that. There was a piece of land that out by him that was plots, and the one guy is a local guy, and he said he hunts it every day. And he goes, every day that piece gets probably 2 or 3 groups of guys that go through it.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, it is. Like I said, I don't know what all the answers are, but I think the Game and Fish definitely could do some improvements on some things. And I think they got to start listening to the landowners and the public. They listen to the public, but again, the landowners are what control a lot of this.
We're the ones that have to live next to it.
Right. And again, I want people to have the opportunity, but I want them to have good opportunities, and the relationships between the Game and Fish and landowners is not that good, and the Joe Public and landowners is not that good, and we somehow have to mend that to make it better.
Yeah.
And again, people forget, like CRP, and guys will bitch and say about farmers getting commodities and getting paid for CRP. They forget that CRP makes hunting 1,000 times better for everybody right there and around them. I mean, it increases the numbers. If we could bring back CRP like we did in the old days, the pheasant population, the duck population, the deer population, everything would be better. But again, it's got to be working with the landowner, because like I said, again, it wasn't started to be for wildlife, but we saw the huge benefit of wildlife. So, and again, I guess
think about that. They gave out over 100,000 tags for several years in a row for deer tags because of the CRP and the buildup of the population. It's nuts. It works.
Again, they have to incorporate the landowner, because that's who's going to be doing it. And they got to figure how to do it. And again, the average person will complain and bitch and say, and I think that's what they try with the plots. But the problem with the plots is that, I guess I don't know what the rules and regulations on all of them are, but it's definitely not CRP. And I don't think they're getting paid like CRP payments were, far as.
It all depends on what you have for ground. I know in my area, if you have a heavily treed and deep draws, you get a lot more than if you just have a flat prairie.
Is it enough to make it worth for the landowner to open it up?
So here's the thing. In some cases, yes. In some cases, like the one that's next to me, that's a pain in my ass. It's a guy that lives in Montana that has a place, never comes back, doesn't fix fence, doesn't work on water, doesn't spray weeds. He just takes every dollar he can get off of this. And we have to deal with all these people all year long. So that's usually the people that are taking these payments.
Yeah. And that's I've heard that too. And again, there's I think we could figure something out if we got some people to the round table type deal, and get the ranchers in there. get the farmers in there, get the game and fish in there, get the Joe Public in there, and come up with something that's, I know that I would spend an extra $100 every year to go to a fund to make hunting better if I knew it was actually going to something.
If it went to the right thing. Yes.
Right. Not just pissed away.
Yep.
Yeah. And, do you think that, and John, you talked about earlier the youth tags out there, and I agree with what you're saying about the buck tag situation, how you perceive it, and I agree with that. I just think that giving these kids the opportunity to hunt bucks early in the year really isn't teaching them anything, how to hunt properly. I still don't believe that, because the deer are not as wary, and you make it easy on them and they think it's always going to be easy. Then they get discouraged when they come out the next year, and then they quit hunting, which I've seen in some kids.
Well,
and
yeah.
But what do you think that the price of the tag is too cheap in North Dakota? I mean,
absolutely. I think so. Yes.
I think, and I tell you what, here's something else that I brought up many years ago, and I said they should have a buck tag that is, make your buck tags $50, $75, and make a doe tag $30, and then see if people are gonna, trend one way or the other. Maybe that's what you got to do. Maybe it'll.
I can guarantee you the Joe Public would just like bitch.
Oh, absolutely, it will. Yeah.
And again, that's why I've always said, and I say it, and I don't say it publicly, but our hunting system is a welfare system. And there's no question that 90% of the people do absolutely nothing to make hunting better in North Dakota. And then 10% work their ass off and keep everybody else afloat. And that's the sad thing, is that no one has skin in the game anymore. They don't, they don't care. They can't even ask for permission, let alone stop and volunteer to do something. Or like I said, I get frustrated with it very, very much so, because I work my ass off for everybody else. And I can't even get a thank you from people that, and they sit on our fences, they sit on our roads. And I'm like, God, I tell you.
Yeah. Here's the problem I have with increasing the fee. I think it's a good idea because it would make people have a little bit more invested in it, but that money is going to the game and fish. This year in the spring, Terry Steinwan, before he retired, says that their budget was $92 million without the game fees. Now, if you're going to increase the price, I think that price, something should be gone back to spraying weeds, water, and fences. Some way, shape, or form, it should go back to the land in some way, but not their pockets. And that's the only problem I have with that. Another thing is the elk. Okay, we got a once in a lifetime tag. All right, you get once in a lifetime if you get drawn, and it costs you $30.
Yeah.
You go to Montana, you can get drawn every once in a while out there, and it costs you $1,000. And people are just throwing money hand over fist going out to Montana or Wyoming or wherever, and they spend that money. I think elk tag is, that is just the stupidest fee I've ever seen in my life, is $30 for an elk fee.
Yeah, that is so true. It is so true. And you turn around and you look at Montana, they're saying, well, I could get a deer fishing and a bear tag for $80 or some dang thing, so what? And we need to increase these fees. And if people bitch about it, then you ask them, okay, when's the last time that you went through your Starbucks over here and bought two Starbucks for $12?
Yep.
And so don't complain about the friggin' tag being increased.
Yeah.
But I agree with allocating some funding there to that land. That's a great idea, because, it goes back to Game and Fish Department. They put it into management. So where do they put it into management? Into places that, like you said, your plots that don't hold animals, or giving ranchers something that's not needed, but, put it into, buying fencing or fence posts, or
updating something.
Giving
Absolutely.
Getting one of the clubs to come out and help fix fence or something, if you can get some volunteers to do it. I don't know, something in regards to that.
Yep.
But that's a very good point, because that just, you think about water. If you put up a dam put up a water system, put up a drainage into a tank and such, some artesian place. My goodness, that kind of benefits the deer as well.
It's going to benefit all wildlife, including cattle.
Yeah.
Well, so the Davis Dam, there's 160 acres that Dixie's grandfather gave to the Game and Fish. They don't even go around and fix that fence. They don't spray any weeds. They'll stock it with fingerlings of trout and everything like that, but they got hound's tongue like crazy over there, and they don't even touch it. They don't graze it. It's a fire danger. They won't let us graze it. Right? It's just unbelievable. They don't even manage their own stuff.
Goodness.
Now, when Randy Cryle was in office, he actually sent people out and fixed the fence and all that good stuff. But now they don't even touch it. It's like they don't even care.
Yeah, like
Randy was a good guy. Yeah.
You know, not Jeb Williams. I'm not sure how he's going to do there. I've never disliked the guy, but I've never agreed with him a lot. I think they all are politicians.
Well, it comes down to money for them all, and that's their number one thing to start with. And yeah, you need that to function as a department, but when it comes down to money as your biggest priority instead of a game management and taking care of those that take care of the land via the ranchers and farmers out there, I mean, that's not your prime focus, then you're off the rail a little bit.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. All right. Well, gentlemen, I got to get going here because I got to get my chores done before I head to Bismarck. So I appreciate you guys coming on here.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys.
Thanks, Scott. See you, John.
You bet. See ya. Have a good day. YouTube, thank you for tuning in and staying a little bit longer. I appreciate that. Have yourself a great day.